Thank you.
So yeah, thank you for coming, first of all. Lots of faces, it's nice. So we're ATOV from Berlin, used to be known as ATOV Project, simplified, made it shorter, got a new logo and everything. And yeah, so at this occasion, we've been working really hard and really long on this big thing called the Faderpunk. So what is Faderpunk? So you might have seen it already. It's a bank of faders, and each of the channels have, see my fingers over there. So they have a jack, a fader, and a button, and a couple of RGB LEDs. And the idea is that you can run apps on each of the channels. So for example, here I have an LFO, I have random generator that is, well, not moving because it's clocked, a sequencer here, some Euclidean sequences, envelopes, and so on. So with this, the idea is that you use one of the, we have 17 available apps so far that are providing different functions. And you load them on the device and set up a layout, change the parameters using the configurator to then be able to perform live, do your recording, and so on. And I'll speak about the use case later, but you want to let's show the configurator.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we have the configurator that hopefully makes it a little bit clear of like how useful, how powerful, and how convertible this whole thing can be. Right now you can see here it's connected to this device here. You can see that there are a couple of free slots. You can see the channel overview over here.
I'm going to hold it at the same time. So
yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
Let's connect to the other side. You need to
perfect
connect.
Yeah, now you get the experience on how you would connect to the thing.
You do like the,
you have this beautiful logo, you connect the device.
Okay.
And we're connected. So it immediately reads all of the current configuration from the device, and then you can just edit the layout that you currently have. So here we have the active apps in the kind of order that they are presented there. The layout can be changed at any point in time. You can just drag and drop the stuff around and set it to the channels that you want to have them. When I press save, you can see that the layout the layout immediately changes. And yeah, you can set all kinds of parameters for the apps. Every app has a certain subset of parameters that you can also change here. For example, just a very simple control app, which is just you use the fader to do CV control. You can set the curve, for example, from linear to logarithmic to exponential. You can set the range that is also applied immediately. So you can have 0 to 10 volts or -5 to 5 volts, or actually also 0 to 5 volts. I don't know why it's not showing up here, but they're going to be fixed. You can set the MIDI channel sending stuff on. You can set to mute on release, as the button is actually a mute button. So you have all kinds of parameters that you can set in the configurator, and it will be immediately applied on device. You can even change the color to another color if you want to do that. If I press save now, you can see that the LED turns in a different color. Yes, that's what I want to hear. We have an overview of a library of apps here. So this is currently what we have. These are all stored on device. So that is when someone actually has an app on their device that you don't have, still can plug it into your configurator. You can even see it's all on device.
I want to bounce back on what you just said. So the API actually that we use to create the apps is open as well. People can use it and create their own apps. So that's why you might end up in a place where you start mangling with your a bit of programming. You make an app or you modify one, change the parameters. But because all of the parameters, even like the icons that you see there and the colors are actually set inside the device, and then the configurator sees it, and you don't have to mess with the configurator. You just have to create the app, and that's it. another thing regarding the colors. So it's all about configurability and personalization. So you can change the colors, that helps you know what's happening, but there is also a sheet of stickers that the device ships with. Yeah. Can you? Oh. Yeah, so you might see them also on the device here. It's difficult to see with the lights, but yeah. So you've got like I don't know, 100 and something stickers there. And then you can personalize the device to know what the hell is happening, because it can get a lot. And so this way you label things, don't work against yourself, and make the device truly your own, and be able to to play and know what's happening. So that's the configurator. Maybe we can go through shortly like the app list. So one thing that this one, whichever on the configurator is fine as well. Well, here is perfect. Yeah, so as I said earlier, the jack can be set to be an input or an output in software when you make the app. And that means that you can do stuff like MIDI to CV, but also CV to MIDI. The envelopes, for example, the AD envelope, well, you need an input to trigger the envelope. So one of the jack becomes an input, the other one becomes an output, and you've got attack and decay that is independent. Also going back to the theme of MIDI to CV, we made it so that one can trigger the envelope directly with MIDI, because a gate output, you would connect it like in maybe 80% of the cases to an envelope, so I might as well just make the AD envelope sense MIDI. So the whole idea is to make it kind of like easy and simple and very logical. So like all of these apps have been developed to be as simple to use as possible. Because the thing is that we can basically do any CV things, like can do anything. So the question is, what do you do when you can do everything? And we decided to start by covering the bases and really make apps that are very simple and are very utilitarian, and not go into some crazy submenus and all of this. This will probably come in the future. The more apps get added to this, I guess the list is gonna continue. I mean, it's going to continue expanding for sure. We already have some that are in the works. But the further you go down the list, the more complex things are going to become. But for now, we're not there yet. Yeah?
Sorry, stop what you're saying. If you have like a MIDI controller plugged into the device.
Yes.
And we could use the MIDI gate to trigger an envelope on it, and then save the jack to do something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can do... okay, let's talk about connectivity. So, can have the camera up there. Yeah, so we have, 19 jacks that are all ADCs, DACs, or the output analog, or have input of analog. They can also output gates, and these three can also have gate inputs. I mean, these can also be set to be gate inputs, but it's a bit different. And on the back, we have USB. Here we are. We have USB, I2C to connect to modules like the expert sleeper stuff or mono and so on. Then MIDI input, 2 MIDI outputs, which for now are copies of each other, and a punk bus, but we'll not talk about this today. Secret for later. Yes?
And is this just for, this might be a stupid question, but is it just for controlling all the different parameters or the different modules? What does it actually generate?
Yeah, it generates MIDI. So for example, here, if I press play here I have a sequencer. So it's connected in CV to the modular and to the C shelf. But I also have this part to the sequencer. And this is controlling, sending MIDI to the laptop and triggering the kick. Same for the clap here. And the Euclidean sequences are also sending MIDI to the laptop. So this is completely open. It really depends on the app as well. So some apps are going to be only sending CV, like the LFO, for example, is only sending CV for now. Some are going to be more MIDI focused, like for example, there's an app called the Node Fader, which is just a fader, selects the note, you press the button, and then plays the MIDI note. Or you also can set it so that you put it in toggling mode, so you press and then it would repeat the note at a certain tempo, and when you move the fader, it will play different notes.
Just to be super clear, it doesn't generate any sound of its own.
No, it's only CV and MIDI, so it does not generate any sound. This is not a synthesizer in itself. It's more of
A modulator.
like how did we call it on the website? The ultimate hackable modulator. Some apps are a bit more MIDI focused, some are more CV focused, and some are more interface kind of devices. So the MIDI to CV, for example, would be obviously converter kind of thing. But it's been done. We try to make it in a smart way where one app can be just configured in many ways to do a lot of things. So the MIDI to CV, you can set the output to either be pitch, CC, gate, just listen to pitch bend or aftertouch and so on. And it's a one-channel app, so you can have multiple of these. And then they are kind of like the control as well, where the fader would just offset the volume, or attenuate it depending on what you want. So if it's when you get a bit into the parameters, like the level of configuration is actually quite high, but still remaining like very basic. So it's what you would expect. You would not have like some crazy parameters that does some super weird thing or completely There's the CV to MIDI and it does also a little bit of CV processing. So we have attenuators and offsets. We have slew limiting. We have also some envelope following, where you can, the idea is to save some CVs, some HPs. So the envelope follower, for example, you can offset and invert the signal, so then you can do sidechlaining with it without having to add some additional CV processing to that. So I used to play live quite a lot before the pandemic came, and so a lot of these functions are coming from just using this stuff live and wanting to make it easy and useful. And do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, Arthur mentioned it already. The openness of the API. So we are not only going to make the API available for people to use, but also like the entire firmware of the thing. That means people can actually develop their own custom software, custom apps for it. And not only that, we will be providing tools and tutorials on how to do that. So I think a lot of times, like, people make their source available and then people hack on it, but that's basically it for support for that. And our plan is to actually long-term provide support for the hackability and customizability of their own apps.
Yeah, I mean, both Chris and I come from learning from what people share online and, sharing their knowledge and so on, that allowing people to see how is the sausage done, basically. And we both got into that, more for electronics, Chris more for programming. And by learning from what people shared, their experiences, their designs, their schematics, their explanations, and so on. And we want to give back to that and kind of honor also these communities that have been building these projects by providing also a tool where people can learn. And there was something else I wanted to say about that, but I forgot. So this will be for later.
Just a quick question about programming your own apps. What language does that take place in, and how easy is that for someone with limited programming skills?
So I can answer that. That will be Rust. To how easy it is. Arthur is not a programmer.
And
he wrote all the apps.
Yeah.
So this is how easy it is.
Yeah, so I have not touched Rust up until, 4 or 5 months ago. I did some little projects with Arduino, some little stuff, playing around and everything, but I don't know how to program really. And then I made all of the apps that are reviewed by Chris to make sure that everything is done properly and efficiently and everything. So, it's if you've got some experience learning like programming on like any open source platforms or like little projects and whatever, it's not that difficult because it's all about just waiting for an event to happen. So it's like, okay, so I'm receiving a clock tick. It's like, what do I do? You run a bit of code for this. What happens when you get a new fader value? And then you do your little codes like this. And it's very, very granular in this sense and very, very simple to understand and get the grips of. One more thing that I wanted to say about the openness is that this will all be hosted on GitHub, including the configurator as well. So that what this means is that as long as we don't close the repo, even if we stop paying for it or whatever, this will stay online. So whether ATOV is still here or not, the product lives on, potentially updates can continue coming up well after we're gone. So not that we're hoping that this would happen soon, but
Planning to go anywhere.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, we want things to continue and not be closed. Like we want, these to last forever, really. I mean, like we actually, like during the process of developing this thing, we got some limitations regarding memory. And we changed the IC, and this IC can write every millisecond on the same address for 4,000 years without running out of read and write cycles. So, it would be fine. Should be. At least this IC is not going to be a problem. I think, other things should go massively wrong before then. Okay, to come back to the device itself and what it can do. So, it's made to make music. Whether you call this music or not, that's your... But one of the things that was important for me to have is some ways to save what's happening. So by just pressing this pink button here that we call the scene button, you can press another button. This will be recalling the entire state of the device. So that means all of the envelope, all the envelope settings, the LFO speeds, the different levels, the sequences and everything is going to be recalled basically on the press of a button. So this allows you to create your set. And it's not going to be just, as I said, it's not just sequencing. So if you use this, but you don't use the sequencing because you might be, using something more powerful like an Oxymeta that is really, whatever sequencer that is more dedicated for this, all of the modulations that come there can be recalled just on a press of a button. So here, you see that the envelope settings especially are changing the sequences and everything. So you can actually turn it, you can add sort of preset saving and recalling to a Eurorack system or to any device that don't support that kind of things if they are more CV based. And so I mean the use cases that are quite interesting with such a device is so there are like main ways you can use this and also combine all of this is that now I just have a small modular system here. It's mostly sound devices, and then you don't need any like CV generators in there really because this can do it all very basically, but it can do all of the modulations you might want. If you have a semi-modular synthesizer, they usually sound quite nice and they're a nice little or bigger box that you can carry around. But they usually they have one envelope, one LFO, maybe two, but they are usually fairly limited. And with all these CV inputs and outputs, you might want to do a lot more with them. And that's actually what this device kind of brings to that as well. Like you can then add so many functions to your semi-modular, and including like quite classic functions like Turing machines and standard LFOs, multi-shapes and whatever. And then there is the interface with more the MIDI world. So connecting to a laptop, you can add CV to your DAW. You can sequence your modular or semi-modular from your DAW and send CV output out. You can record your automation with CCs in your scenes and production. And this will be controlling the plus make like opening your filter or whatever over time. And also you can take all of these beautiful synthesizers here. I don't think many of them actually have CV inputs. So what you can do is connect this to that and add CV to a DX7, for example. Also do something like this. So you can add this interconnectivity with this device. And the nice thing is that you can do it all at the same time. So just by routing things, changing the MIDI channels, and so you can have all of this coming together and create one mega super instrument. And this would be the interface for all of it.
So for the little strip on the right, so you got
This one, yeah.
that scene button, and then I assume the bottom right is like a shift for your other thing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it's a shift. So when you press this, then you've got the secondary functions. Yeah, I mean
And then what are the three other jacks do? Just create assignable things.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are basically freely, so I think in general these are freely assignable. So these are basically jacks like all of the other ones. They are just not assigned to a channel. So currently we're using it as clock input, clock output. So you can use it as a 24 ppqn clock input for as of now, and you can use all three of them as clock outputs that basically output the clock that goes in the other way. We have an internal clock as well. And you can also set subdivisions in the configurator for that. In the future, we also expect these to have more functionality. For reasons that Arthur explained earlier, we haven't really mapped them to functions within apps yet because we don't want apps to compete for these jacks, and we haven't found a nice way in the API yet to kind of take control over these jacks.
I guess still not having master clock in, clock out, reset, or whatever is super.
Yeah, they are there already. That's already what they're used for. So when you use them as clock outputs as well, so you would take like clock from MIDI, these become clock outputs. And maybe we can have the display of the laptop again. So you can set. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's been actually.
Yeah. So it's moving a lot. Yeah. So you can set the subdivision to be here it's for 24 ppqn, but you also have 4 for the URAC stuff, but also very long ones like 1 and 4 bars that allows you to reclock stuff, like reset things over a longer time. Which again is when I play live, I like having these just to keep things a little bit more tight. And
While we're here in this mode or in the settings menu, we also have a global quantizer in this device that apps can use. It's global. That means you can only have one scale per device, but that's very deliberate. So you probably don't want work in different scales anyways, so you can set it globally, and every app can then use the scale and quantize the output.
A sequencer or in a bunch of Turing machine and everything, you just change the quantizer on one of them, not on one of them, but basically you press scene and then move this fader, and then it
So you can change that on the device.
Yeah, you can change it on the device. So there are a few things you can change on the device itself. There is LED brightness, the quantizer settings. So there is some colors on the device, and you can see there's this purple, yellow, and blue. And these are different sections for the different internal parameters as well. So then it becomes a little bit easier to remember. For now, there's only LED brightness, quantizer settings, and tempo that you can adjust. But when the more they come, the more we'll add them.
So can you mention community? Also being support. Where does that happen? How do you go back in?
So mainly this will happen on our Discord. So we have a website, faderpunk.cv, which is the overview website, and that has also a link to our Discord where the community will happen. At the same time, it will obviously also on GitHub because that's where the code is, and we will basically give all of the functionality that GitHub provides to all of the people who want to contribute. Mm-hmm. So you can create issues, you can open pull requests. We will be there, and we will be very active and be actively monitoring our GitHub repository that is going to be open on release day.
9th of October. Next week, Thursday, yeah. And so we already have the Discord for quite a while now with a bunch of people that are using our devices. And this is where there will be a mix of users and also programmers, and let's see how we handle this. Maybe we'll separate a few things, but Discord is mostly the place to be. Otherwise, we all have all of the emails and YouTubes and Instagram and everything that is also open for anybody to follow us and see what's happening. One thing I'd like to invite you to do is maybe scan this QR code, and there is the our mailing list, so you can be informed of whatever is happening with the company, and see all of the updates of the Faderpunk. And if you're not convinced today, maybe there will be an app that will convince you later, and that will update. Yeah, we'll update this quite often. So yeah. We'd like also to give a big thank you to many people. This time I hope I won't forget. So we worked with Hannes at Paper Noise to make the panels and the design. Liza did the configurator design as well. We have also all of the people that helped us find the name, including Eric. There was Xavi from Bodysins. There was Marius. All of the beta testers. So Felipe, Anselm, Luca. People that helped us make the video. So Gusta and Dasha. Who else?
I think this time you have everyone. I think this is everyone.
Alex, Signal Sounds in general, all of your feedback and help. And plus, generally also the people that have been supporting us for many years, buying our products and so on, and being on the Discord and chatting with us.
It's been amazing to us.
Yeah, it's the best industry to work in. So yeah, it's nice. And all of you, of course, for coming and listening to to whatever we have to say. Yeah, thank you very much for coming. It's really nice.